Declare the meeting open. It's 6:07. And just advise members of the public, by being in attendance today, the meeting is being live streamed, and by being here you consent to having your voice or image transmitted. Can I call upon Deputy Mayor Barry Winmar to welcome us to country?
Thank you, Worship. I begin by acknowledging my elders past and present. Ngalak nini kura ngala nois niji nonga budja. Nonga mutjurpa niji dana kwabarak nonga budja kuralong. From the beginning of time to end, this is Noongar country. Noongar people have been graceful keepers of our nation for many, many years. Jinin Kadajin Jurpa niji wern nonga budja kalamaya maya border. We ask you to look, listen, understand, and embrace all the elements of Noongar country. This is forever our home. Kaiwan jungan ko Jurpa niji nonga budja darjli wangin nonga budja. Hello and welcome. My heart is happy as we're gathered on country and meeting here on Noongar country this evening.
It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all here, and before commencing proceedings, I too would like to acknowledge that we come together tonight on the land of the Noongar people and pay our respects to elders past and present. Could I call upon Councillor Penny to read the dedication?
Thank you. May we, the elected members of the City of Kwinana, have the wisdom to consider all matters before us with a due consideration, integrity and respect for the Council Chamber. May the decisions made be in good faith and always in the best interest of the greater Kwinana community that we serve.
Attendance, apologies, leave of absence previously approved. There are nil. Public question time. Is there any questions from the public? There is nil. Petitions? Nil. Presentations? I don't believe there's a deputation. Report on the local government election. Do we need to read that? Yep. Report on local government election held. The council election count was conducted on Saturday the 18th of October 2025 with a total of 8,677 formal ballot papers and 126 informal ballot papers. There were 12 candidates who nominated, and the results for each are... Do you want me to reread the whole thing?
No, just the four.
Elected to fill 4 vacancies until 20 October 2029. Erin Sargent, 1,586. Barry Winmar, 1,551. Matthew Rouse, 1,139, and Bailey and Miller, 727. That doesn't have to be moved or anything, does it?
It's just recording.
Okay, 8, swearing in of newly elected councillors. Who am I calling first? If I can call upon Erin Sargent to come forward.
Does it include middle name?
Sure. You just need to read it out, I of, and then read that.
Okay. I, Erin Olivia Sargent of 7 Goldsmith Drive, Wellard, having been elected to the office of Councillor of the City of Kwinana, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly, faithfully, honestly and with integrity fulfil the duties of the office for the people in the district according to the best of my judgment and ability, and will observe the Code of Conduct adopted by the City of Kwinana under Section 5.104 of the Local Government Act 1995. Do I read the next bit?
No.
No.
And you just need to full name and signature. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yippee.
Do you want to photo
Is Tash is here? I think she's.
No?
I think Tash is going to do that at the end.
Yeah, just get out of the way.
Thank you, Sam.
Could I call upon Councillor Barry Winmar to do the declaration? Name, address, etc. So you just need to now read by Barry Winmar, declare, and then sign.
I, Barry Charles Winmar of 9 Gawler Way, Callista, WA 6167, having been elected to the office of Councillor of the City of Kwinana, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly, faithfully, honestly and with integrity fulfil the duties of the office for the people in the district according to the best of my judgment and ability, and will observe the Code of Conduct adopted by the City of Kwinana under Section 5.104 of the Local Government Act 1995.
So it's name, signature. Congratulations, Councillor Winmar. Could I call upon Matthew Rouse? Ready to go.
I, Matthew James Rouse of 76 Beauchamp Loop, Wellard, WA 6170, having been elected to the office of Councillor of the City of Kwinana, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly, faithfully, honestly and with integrity fulfil the duties of the office for the people in the district according to the best of my judgment and ability, and will observe the Code of Conduct adopted by the City of Kwinana under Section 5.104 of the Local Government Act 1995.
No, please not. Congratulations,
Thank you, Mr.
Councillor
Webb.
Rouse. Valiant, Miller, come forward, please.
I, Bailey Darren Miller of 21 Elmslie Street, Aurelia, having been elected to the office of Councillor for the City of Kwinana, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly, faithfully, honestly and with integrity fulfil the duties of the office for the people in the district according to the best of my judgment and ability, and will observe the Code of Conduct adopted by the City of Kwinana under Section 5.0104 of the Local Government Act 1995.
Congratulations, Councillor Miller. Item 9.1, election of the Deputy Mayor. Have we received nominations?
Through you, Mr Mayor, we've received 2 nominations at this stage, Councillor Michael Brown and Councillor Barry Winmar. Are there any other nominations? Just giving that pause for,
I think you're supposed to wait a minute, technically.
yeah, that's what I'm doing, I'm waiting. It's a bit like a block auction. No other nominations? Okay, we have 2 nominations. In accordance with Section 11A of the Constitution, regs of local government, the order for the ballot for those will be in alphabetical order. So Councillor Michael Brown, then Councillor Barry Winmar. We will now prepare the ballot papers. You can do that if you want. You can just so we have 2 minutes to state your case.
That's okay. I just move that we adjourn the meeting until 6:23. Could I have a seconder? Seconded, Councillor Acker. All those in favour? Motion carried. The meeting will recommence at 6:23. As it's 6:23, the meeting will resume. The CEO will hand out the ballot papers for the election of the Deputy Mayor. Councillor Acker, you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since it's preferential voting, do we have to put a number in each block or?
As there is only 2 candidates, just mark 1 box.
Right, thank you.
Councillor Brown?
Thank you, Your Worship. Would there be an opportunity to speak before the election?
I did this seek advice from the CEO. He did technically say no, but I believe I will entertain the candidates providing at most 2 minutes to put their case to council as to why they, so if you haven't voted yet, please don't. You can always change. As you're the number 1 on the ballot, Councillor Brown, if you'd like to give 2 minutes as to why you believe you were the worthy candidate.
Thank you, Your Worship. It's a real privilege to stand here and nominate for the role of Deputy Mayor. In taking part in this competitive process, it is certainly with no disrespect to my fellow nominees, but rather a great example of the democratic process for any one of us following the endorsement of our community to be able to get up here and give it a shot. The outcome is certainly of real consequence, but this council moves on regardless with a shared mission to be a voice for and to serve the interests of our residents. Now, with the exception of Councillor Miller, congratulations on your election, I've worked alongside most of you for a number of years now, and so each one of you has experience with me executing on that mission. It is with that knowledge that I will, some might say for once, try to keep it brief. In my professional life, I am tasked with various leadership responsibilities. I've been accountable for millions of dollars of projects each year, and I'm trusted to run meetings with internal and external stakeholders day to day. In the event of Mayor Peter Feasey becoming unavailable, I'm confident that I would be able to leverage that business acumen to effectively stand in and chair the ordinary council meetings, briefings, and execute on any other council activity with coaching from the Mayor and CEO as required. Outside of incidences where the Mayor may be incapacitated, I stand ready to complement the mayoral function through attendance at events, engaging with the community, and as required, acting as a conduit for the flow of information between the Mayor, CEO, and other council members. It would be my prerogative to maintain the strong reputation of this city's council through the Deputy Mayor function, following in the solid footsteps of Deputy Mayor Winmar, who has held the baton for the past 2 years, and Mayor Peter Feasey as Mayor for that same time. It is my strong belief that the Deputy Mayor maintains his or her independent voice on council and should empower others to use their own voice with volume, respect, and reason for the good of the wider community. Whatever the outcome is this evening, I'm so proud to stand here as a lifelong resident and councillor for the City of Kwinana for another 2 years, alongside this group full of diverse, independent opinions, but again, with that shared mission to serve our residents. If I was to have the opportunity to take on the role of Deputy Mayor, I commit to bringing the same level of energy, enthusiasm, and endless pride in our city to do whatever it takes through the role of Deputy Mayor to keep our city on this path of sustainable growth, looking to the future, but not forgetting our roots, as quirky as some of those may be. Thank you.
Councillor Winmar.
Thank you, Michael Brown. Your Worship, fellow councillors, it is with humility and deep sense of purpose that I stand before you this evening to nominate myself for re-election as Deputy Mayor of the City of Kwinana. Over the past term, it has been a genuine honour to serve in this capacity, representing our council, supporting our Mayor, and working alongside each of you in the best interests of our community. This role has been both a privilege and a responsibility that I have carried with the utmost respect. One of the greatest honours of serving as Deputy Mayor has been the opportunity to formally represent our city at significant civic and ceremonial events, occasions where dignitaries, government representatives and community leaders are present. I do this quite regularly, and it is always acclaimed that my connection to the City of Kwinana and being its Deputy Mayor holds the city's views in high esteem across this state. Each time I've stood up on the behalf of Kwinana, I've done so with pride, mindful that I'm not only representing this council, but also the people, culture and values that make our city unique. Serving as Deputy Mayor has been one of the greatest privileges of my time on council, a role that carries not only responsibilities of leadership, but the deep honour of representing its people with dignity and respect. The position is not one I take lightly. It demands integrity, consistency, and a commitment to uphold the values and reputation of this council. requires us to lead by example, to listen, to collaborate, and to always act in the best interests of our community. I'm nominated to represent the city in various forums of other zones and opportunities where we can advocate for Kwinana, the South Metro Zone, and the state as a state councillor. I have a deep connection and I'm in a position to advocate for the city as a small business owner, where I have personal relationships with various key stakeholders and businesses and industry partners to advocate and advance the best interests of Kwinana. I am deeply conscious that to serve as Deputy Mayor is to embody the spirit of Kwinana, a community built on resilience, respect and unity, and as a proud long-term resident, I bring this role with value of connection, inclusion, and the principles that align with the heart of our city's identity. This role is not an individual recognition. It is about collective leadership, shared purpose, and the continued strengthening of trust between this council and the people we serve. If I'm afforded the privilege to continue as Deputy Mayor, I will do so with the same steadiness, humility and commitment to service that I have brought to the role thus far. I will continue to support our Mayor, support our councillors, my fellow councillors, and represent the City of Kwinana with professionalism and respect. I thank you for your consideration and for the honour of the role of working alongside you, all in the service of our community. I thank you for your support, your collegiality, and your shared dedication to the people we serve. It will be an honour to continue in the role as Deputy Mayor, and I respectfully seek your endorsement this evening.
Thank you, Councillor Winmar. That be said, if councillors now wish to vote for their preferred candidate.
Through you, Mr Mayor, the votes have been counted. I'd like to declare that Councillor Barry Winmar has been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor for the term of 2 years, expiring when the Deputy Mayor is to be elected after the next local government ordinary elections. Congratulations.
I, Barry Charles Winmar of 9 Galway Solicitor, WA 6167, having been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor of the City of Kwinana, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly, faithfully, honestly and with integrity fulfil the duties of the office for the people in the district according to the best of my judgment and ability, and will observe the Code of Conduct adopted by the City of Kwinana under Section 5.104 of the Local Government Act 1995.
Congratulations, Deputy Mayor Barry Wimmer. Yeah, no, I'm just trying to find it. So, item number 10, seating arrangements for the new council. The council notes the following methodology for determining seating positions in the council chamber. Deputy Mayor to be seated at the front left-hand side of the council chamber, or other seated positions to be filled by last name alphabetically from the front left-hand side. So I believe this is where we're at. Moved, Councillor Rouse, seconded Councillor Sargent. Would any councillors wish to speak for? Would anyone like to speak against the seating order? I'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. The aircon's not working. Kirsty's gone to do it. Kirsty's gone. Item 11.1 minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 15th of October 2025. Is there any additional information?
Nothing further, Mr. Mayor.
Councillors have any questions? Someone like to move that way? Moved Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Sargent. Would either councillor wish to speak? Anyone speak against? Put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Do councillors have any declarations of interest? Councillor Miller.
Thank you. I'd like to disclose an interest on item 22.1, as my father is a volunteer firefighter for Mandogalup Station. However, I have no pecuniary interest in the matter.
Okay, so the interest of impartiality.
Thank you.
And you've completed the declaration provided to the city's governance officer? You will do. Request for leave of absence. Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, just request leave from the 10th of November to the 23rd of November.
Any other leave of absence? Someone like to move that way? Moved Councillor Wood, seconded Councillor Acker. Either councillors wish to speak? Speak against? Put the item to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. There's nothing on item 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 or 21. Item 22, 22.1, local law adoption, bushfire brigades, local law 2025. Is there any additional information?
Nothing further, Mr. Mayor.
Councillors have any questions? Would someone like to move that way? Moved Councillor Sargent, seconded Councillor Acker. Either councillors wish to speak? Yes. Councillor Sargent?
Thank you, Mayor Feasy. On this particular document, the fact that we had Rod D. San Miguel, Andrew Briggs, Peter Schrumer, Mark Heath, and Colin, I may pronounce your surname wrong, Varak, all consult, who are our community product specialists, to make sure that this local law is robust for our frontline service people. I have been assured there was a couple of questions raised in the submission documents, and I have clarified with the officers that the city does not look at anything like dissolving a bushfire brigade without a subject to a rigorous and transparent process. Regarding the concerns raised around the mental health assessment under the work health and safety laws and regulations, there is very stringent rules that involve a specialist medical opinion with that. And the only other question I raised for capacity was around the digital attendance, if that would help the business. But I have also been advised that if that is something that becomes a requirement for our frontline fire brigades to operate, there is scope in this law that it can be introduced. So I highly recommend we move this. I thank everybody that consulted on it to make sure that we are aligned with our standards, we're protecting our frontline workers, and we have a clear and transparent process going forwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sargent. Councillor Acker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be supporting this item. The existing Bushfire Brigade's local law dates back to 2004, so this update is long overdue. It modernizes our governance, clarifies roles, and aligns with DFES and state legislative standards. It ensures our brigades operate under clear, contemporary rules that respect volunteers and strengthen community safety ahead of each fire season. This isn't about more red tape, it's about accountability, consistency, and giving our brigades the support and clarity they deserve, and that's why I'll be supporting this motion, and I encourage my fellow councillors to do the same.
Thank you, Councillor Acker. Does anyone wish to speak against the item? If not, prior to putting it to the vote, I am required to read the purpose and effect. The purpose: to make provisions about the establishment and organisation of bushfire brigades. Effect: to align the City of Kwinana's bushfire brigades local law with changes in the law and operational practices, and to repeal the existing City of Kwinana bushfire local law published in the Government Gazette on 4th June 2004. I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Item 22.2, the tender for the Civic Administration Building refurbishment. Is there any additional information?
Nothing further, Mr. Mayor.
Councillors have any questions? Councillor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question is, what measures are in place to ensure that the awarded contractor is held accountable in the event of issues such as a budget overrun or delays in project completion? How does the city monitor and manage contractor performance to keep the refurbishment on track and within budget?
Thank you, Councillor Miller. Mr. Elkins.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. That process really starts right at the beginning with the process to procure the contractor. Like most construction, we work to Australian standards contracts, which are well known by industry, well known by the city, and well known by our superintendent. The city employs an independent superintendent. In our case, it's the architect, which is quite common for this type of construction project, who is very experienced in the oversight of construction projects. So within the Australian standards contracts, there's very particular provisions. The expectation is you sign up for a period of time to construct the contract, you lock in a lump sum. To vary from that, it has to be within the mechanisms within the contract. So legitimately, if there's something found, which happens in a renovation, unfortunately, that was not foreseeable, then you'd be entitled to say, hey, we didn't allow for this, no one knew, but we have to fix it, and there's a time cost and a project cost to that. But that is overseen by the architect, who's knowledgeable in what's reasonable and what things should cost, and there's also mechanisms in the contract to allow us to get alternate prices where we're not satisfied or the superintendent's not satisfied. The final part of that is when we do budget for projects, we do allow contingencies, particularly this type of project. As I said at the start, very early, renovations are notoriously difficult because there's a lot of things we don't know what may have happened 40 years ago or 20 years ago, whenever the last renovation was occurred. So we do allow for it in the budget that there will be some additional cost in the project.
Any additional questions? Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Your Worship. The report, as part of the process, there's a number of reference checks done for the winning tenderer. Could the city give some additional information on what what projects were delivered at those reference sites, I guess, and how do they compare to what is being constructed here?
Through the chair, probably not publicly, happy to do that, take that on notice and give additional information separately. The process of determining a contractor is not price-based. A tender is based on a weighted score which includes experience. So this particular contractor has experience in very similar projects in terms of complexity but also price. But it's not just the experience of the contractor in projects, it's also the quality of the people who work for the organisation. So as part of the assessment, we collect, we get the resumes and we look at the history of work of the individuals who are responsible for the project. We look at all the subcontractors as well. So we look at every part of that contractor before we make that recommendation.
Thank you. Just another question. Somewhat off the back, but could the city outline, as part of this process, how it communicated the importance of the chamber-specific function to the tenderers and how that advice flowed through in the recommended tender brought before us? Just noting, maybe no, could be part of the confidential item.
Through the chair, there was nothing extra because it's a council chamber. It's a construction project based on a design and specification. So this part of the building, as with the remainder of the building, has been drawn and specified by the architect and included in that tender package. So it is a construction project from that point.
Cool. Thank you.
Anything else, Councillor Brown?
No, just conscious of the confidentiality of the item, so.
Any other questions? Questions, Councillor Sargent? Okay. Councillor Penny?
I'd like to move a amendment to the officer recommendation, and I'm seeking procedural advice from you, Mr. Mayor, presiding member.
Sorry, Councillor Penny, we're actually still at questions.
Okay.
So just confirm that there are no other questions before the item. Councillor Penny?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe what I'm proposing is an amendment to the motion, and I seek your procedural advice on that.
So could you tell me what you're proposing?
I would like the officer recommendation to stand as is, as Part A, and for Part B to be added to this motion, and that is the city will host a workshop with elected members to understand the issues raised around communication and consultation with elected members on the refurbishment of the council chambers as a part of the administration refurbishment project. That's my suggestion.
That's your motion that you wish to move.
Yes.
So section your B actually under section 9.11 of the standing orders requires a motion to be relevant, and as the item is in relation to determining the preferred tenderer and the preferred tenderer only, the relevance to point B is actually not there.
I would say that this is relevant, as the motion that we're moving is to accept the tender, with the next steps being subject to the successful negotiation and execution of a formal contract.
No, my initial point 9.11 of the standing orders clearly states relevant to the motion, and I don't believe that to be relevant to the motion. So.
I believe it is, and I'm seeking procedural support on how I can facilitate the voices of other councillors around the civic administration building refurbishment.
Please take a seat, Councillor Penny.
Thank you.
I just need to seek some advice from the city's officers. Mr. Elkins?
Sorry, with regard to the procedural issue? The chair ultimately is the decision maker on the standing orders. Yep, so if the chair has made the decision on how the standing orders applies, then that is the decision.
Thank you, Mr. Elkins. So if that being said, would someone like to move the officer's recommendations? Moved, Councillor Rouse, seconded Councillor Acker. Councillor Rouse, would you like to speak on the item?
Yeah, just briefly, Your Worship. I'm in support. I've heard and read many comments that this is not needed, and one particular comment stating this is a vanity project for the councillors, which provides us with shiny new officers. But nothing could be further from the truth. This is not about us at all. It's about providing a modern, functional work environment for our expanding workforce, and we all know they deserve it. It's about replacing an HVAC system that has long reached its end of life and is now costing the ratepayers money just to keep it partially functioning. It's about renewing a faulty fire alarm system. It's about enhancing the visitor and customer experience. It's about combining the council lounge and chambers and creating a usable civic space. And it's about time it was done. It's been a rigorous process to determine the appropriate contractor and lots of checks and balances, so I therefore support the motion to award the contract tender to Swan Group WA Proprietary Limited and urge my fellow councillors to do the same. Thank you, Your Worship.
Councillor Acker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Civic Administration Building is a core city asset that's reached the end of its effective life. Refurbishment offers the best value for money, modernizing the workspace, improving efficiency, and avoiding the much higher cost of a rebuild. The tender process was transparent, competitive, and produced a strong outcome, with Swan Group WA selected for their proven civic project experience, ISO certifications, and strong financial standing. The project is within budget, supports sustainability goals, and future-proofs a facility that serves the entire community, and that's why I'll be supporting this motion. Thank you.
Would anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Penny.
Unfortunately, I have to speak against this item as it stands, not because I wholeheartedly actually endorse and back up the comments of my fellow councillors, Councillor Rouse and Councillor Acker, in terms of why this work is needed. Why I need to speak against this item is that the process for us to get to this point of decision and discussion around what was to happen with the council chambers has been unsatisfactory. Despite my best efforts to encourage deeper conversation, additional briefings or a roundtable open conversation about the points that I'd heard from fellow councillors about not feeling listened to, not feeling respected in the process. And
Sorry, Councillor Penny, I'm going to have to rule another motion of relevance for your point.
Yeah.
The item that we're actually dealing with today is the tender. It's certainly not the background that comes together to put the refurbishment together. This council has already resolved to do that. This item is specifically to award a company to be the constructor of the refurbishment. So
Yeah.
maybe just think about the way that you want to finish.
Okay, thank you. Can I just have a moment to take that on board?
Sure.
Yeah, as I said, it's a shame that I have to raise this in this way. And procedurally, I would have liked some advice around how to facilitate those voices. I understand that you're saying that's not relating to the tender. Unfortunately, outside of the budget process, like we haven't had an open conversation about this in the chambers. The plans, you know, budget, those kinds of things have not been presented publicly and openly. So this is my only moment actually to speak in this forum about it. Again, I'm happy to take any procedural advice from the presiding member at this time about how I can facilitate the voices of myself and my fellow councillors, and I dare say even, you know, those who hold the freedom of the city, previous elected members, and those who have been involved in the governance of this amazing city. So, to that point, yeah, again, as a procedural point, I seek advice from the chair.
I don't believe I can really provide you with any additional advice. The item is, as I've said, is quite clear what we're doing tonight. In relation to the refurbishment of the administration building, I would imagine, or not even I would imagine, I would expect that the city officers provide regular updates to the elected members in relation to the progress of the refurbishment. So again, this isn't a final tonight. We are making a decision on who we will select as the constructor of the refurbishment, not the actual refurbishment itself. It doesn't determine the layout of the building or anything like that. So again, I would expect that we will be provided with those briefings as the construction occurs over the possible 6 to 8 months that it will take to actually construct or refurbish the existing administration building.
Thank you. As a point of order, we spoke earlier today about how I could raise this, and my, heartfelt request was that we have a conversation with all of the elected members. The advice that I received was to bring this to the chamber to allow the fellow councillors to vote on it, because there was some uncertainty whether this was a
And
Councillor
sorry,
Penny
I'll actually
issue
ask you to
or
sit
across
down
the
now,
board.
Councillor Penny. Please sit down.
Okay.
And as I did advise that that there would be an opportunity to speak at this meeting, but you were speaking at this meeting in relation to the item that is on the agenda, and the item again that is on the agenda is the item to select the preferred tenderer to construct the refurbishment of the administration building. Councillor Sargent, you can ask a question.
Thank you, Mayor Feasy. If what Councillor Penny is trying to portray is not attached to this agenda, as you've said procedurally, is there an opportunity for her to offer a separate late notice of motion that's an independent?
Sorry, there's no grounds for
There's no grounds?
a notice of motion in relation to, well, I mean, any councillor is entitled to move a notice of motion. However, if you read the standing orders, you'll be quite quickly see that there is a process to do so, and moving one live on the council floor is not something that can occur. Notice of motion does require, again, permission of the presiding member, being myself, in consultation with the CEO. So, again, Councillor Penny, I get what you're trying to achieve. I've obviously had a conversation with you today. Elected members have seen correspondence that has been provided. Again, I'm going to take it back, and I'm actually going to put the motion, but the item that we are voting on this evening is to award the tenderer for the construction of the refurbishment of the city's administration. So based on that, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried.
Just need to record the votes.
Item 22.3, Traffic Management Services. Is there any additional information?
Nothing further, Mr. Mayor.
Councillors have any questions? No questions? Would someone like to move that way? A question or moving? Moving, Councillor Sargent, seconded Councillor Wood. Would either councillors wish to speak? Councillor Sargent.
Thank you, Mayor Feasy. I just commend the City of Kwinana for your due diligence in this space, and to look at having dual providers to give the best value for money, and especially when we're moving forward into a space of many exciting projects coming up, to have capacity concerns when you have only one provider, to have dual providers, that it's a fantastic and progressive thing moving forwards, and I highly recommend my councillors vote for this, please.
Councillor Wood. Anyone speak against? If not, I'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Item 22.4, Council Members, Committee Members and Chief Executive Officer Communication Agreement. Is there any additional information?
Nothing further, Mr. Mayor.
Councillors have any questions? Someone like to move that way? Moved Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Rouse. Would either councillor wish to speak? Councillor Rouse? Anyone speak against? Put the motion all to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Item 22.5, appointment of council representatives to committees and organisations. Do we have someone move that we suspend standing orders so we can go through this process? Move Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Acker. So I'm not sure exactly which standing order we're doing, but all those in favour? Let me find the item.
Okay, so you need the new, you need the amended.
And there is an amended report. Is that the whole report?
That's the recommendations, which has got all the ones on it.
Is that in my email?
Yeah,
That's from Vicky.
yeah. Don't do the trip change one.
Has everyone seen the amended officer's recommendations? So the amendment is in relation to the audit and risk.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the main changes are in relation to the Audit and Risk Committee. So it has separated out the appointment of the independent members and then the appointment of the presiding members. There are a couple of other minor changes too, just in terms of the remuneration of the Audit and Risk members, so that aligns with the Local Government Act. The recommendation to establish a new position on the LRIC called the Elected Member Assistant, which I think you guys will figure out pretty quickly who that should be. And then approval to appoint elected members and city officers to internal and external committees. There's just been a minor reshaping of that, but it's all pretty much laid out in those.
Any questions so far? Okay, so we'll just go through item by item, and the ones we possibly need to vote for, we will do so. So if we start with the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. So by way of the amendment to the policy, the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor are automatically on this committee. So we have two councillors, two elected members to fill. Councillor Sargent, Councillor Brown, Councillor Acker. So there's two positions. Does anyone like to not nominate? Or otherwise we'll go to a ballot. No? So if we can run a ballot for the Audit and Risk. Again, is it in order of alphabetical? Or we need to draw their names out of the...
Can you, if we carry on through, they can... Just write it.
Okay.
Yeah, carry on through.
All right, so as we need to prepare a ballot for that, we'll just move on and we'll go back to the ones that require ballots. What's next? Bullamara. There is 2 elected members and 1 elected member proxy. Do I have nominations? Nomination Deputy Mayor, Councillor Penny. Is there anyone to be a proxy? Councillor Acker? Okay. It's easy. Are you writing them down?
Yep.
The Executive Appraisal Committee requires 5 elected members. Councillor Rouse, Councillor... Oh, let's go this way. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Acker, Councillor Brown, Councillor Rouse, Councillor Wood and myself. So we need 5. Can you just put your hands up again? Can you just put your hands up again that wants to? Okay.
So you're withdrawing? All right.
So Councillor Acker, Councillor Brown, Councillor Rouse, Councillor Wood.
Hang on a second, if we can just keep your hands up. So I'll just go around. Acker, Brown, Rouse, Sherry, and the Mayor. Yep.
Okay. The Bushfire Advisory Committee.
Sorry,
Is-
just note, as you noted, as you're going through it, so you just have to do it, that the presiding members of the Audit and Risk Committee will be Gabriel McMath and the deputy will be Aswin.
Okay. So number 2, just in accordance with Local Government Act 1995, that we appoint the following independent committee members of the Audit Risk Improvement Committee as the presiding member and the deputy presiding member, being presiding member Gay McMath and deputy presiding member Ashwin Kumar. Bushfire Advisory Committee, we're looking for 2 elected members. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Acker and Councillor Miller. There's 2 spots. If we can have a ballot for the Bushfire Advisory Committee. We'll just do it at the end.
Yeah, we'll just do it right there. Okay, can you do the next?
So a
Alicia,
ballot.
which one?
Yep. So it's Deputy Mayor, Councillor Acker and Councillor Miller. The Local Emergency Management Committee. So we're looking for an elected member to chair the Local Emergency Management Committee. Councillor Rouse, who's the current chair. No, Councillor Rouse. Internal committees, the Kwinana Recovery Group.
Aaron.
What is the Kwinana Recovery Group?
Following an emergency event, they come together to see how the community's going to recover from a major event. Post-disaster.
I thought that was automatically the mayor.
No, you also have a chair, but you will become the
Okay.
spokesperson.
Councillor Sargent, is there any other nominees?
Question on that. I, as the chair of the link, would be invited to that.
Correct. And through Mr. Mayor, the mayor by position as well becomes the spokesperson. So you have a person who's effectively taking charge of the recovery. LEMAC have an important role, and the mayor has the overall speaking.
Access and Inclusion Reference Group. Councillor Wood, Councillor Miller. Sure.
At the moment, I've been informed it operates on Wednesday. Is you intending to still operate on Wednesday?
Through the chair, yeah, definitely at this stage, it will continue on a Wednesday.
So if you can put your hands back up. Councillor Miller, Councillor Sargent and Councillor Wood. So there's only 2 positions. It's technically a internal committee, so can we just put all 3 members on that committee, please?
We can just create 3. Just create 3? Yeah.
Yep.
So 3 positions on that.
The Cash Donations and Sponsorship Assessment Panel. Do we have 2 elected members? Councillor Rouse and just put my hand up for that. So Cash Donation Sponsorship Assessment Panel, Councillor Rouse and myself. Events Funding Assessment Panel, Councillor Miller, Councillor Wood. Freedom the City Working Group. I'll nominate for that. Keep your hands raised. We only technically need 3. It doesn't meet often. Councillor Penny, Deputy Mayor and myself then on the Freedom of the City Working Group. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Penny and myself. There's three of us.
Three.
Councillor Penny.
Two, three. Community, Kwinana Community Funding Panel. Next.
Kwinana Community Funding Panel. Need 2 elected members. Yes.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor. Could you speak to the mechanism of this committee and its function outside of the other sponsorship and event sponsorship committees we have? Thanks.
Through the chair, this is our smaller funding. Sorry, I'm actually just looking up the page to make sure I get the right one, but this is generally done online assessment, and then, if required, coming together to meet and discuss the outcome of it. So the sponsorship would be a major event. These are the smaller funding opportunities.
So, do we have anyone for that? Councillor Wood. I guess I'll put my hand up for Kwinana Community Fund Panel. The Lyrics Scholarship and Awards Panel. We have 1 elected member and 1 elected member assistant. So we have 3 nominations.
Can we do the assistant first?
Can we do the assistant first? Let's call it the proxy.
Let's call it a under development, under training.
Let's
I like
Let's,
an adjunct.
let's call it
Adjunct member.
the youngest councillor in the city's history. Probably should be on the Lyric Awards panel. So Councillor Miller is the assistant, and we have Councillor Brown and Councillor Rouse that wish to also be on that committee. So I believe we will need a ballot. The Community Awards Assessment Panel. We're looking for 1 councillor for that. Councillor Rouse? No others? So Councillor Rouse for the Community Awards Assessment Panel. The Local Commercial Support Grants Panel. Councillor Brown, Miller and Sargent. Okay, so Councillor Brown, Miller and Sargent. Public Art Review Panel.
No, the Parks, Places and Buildings Working Group.
Oh, okay. Naming of Parks, Places and Buildings Working Group. I'll nominate for that. 3.
No,
So we only need
yeah,
3. So myself,
yeah, I
Councillor Penny and Councillor Wood.
Public Art.
Public Art Review Panel. You like art though, Councillor Acker. Councillor Penny. Who chose the artwork at Wellard West? So external committees. The Kwinana Community Consultative Network. Who was on that committee? Do they meet?
They do meet.
Okay.
It's just information over the base.
All right, so Councillor Wood for the Kwinana Community Consultative Network. The Alcoa Stakeholder Reference Group, Kwinana Long-Term Residue Management Strategy.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So this is the one that will probably change a little bit in terms of its focus now that Alcoa is closing, but they still want to have it, and we've put on a couple of officers with that group.
Can I also add, I was on this last time and it never met.
They will be meeting now to discuss the closure.
So Councillor Sargent for that one. The Beelia Regional Park Community Advisory Committee. Councillor Penny. The Coburn Sound Management Council. Councillor Brown and a proxy. Proxy, Councillor Miller. Councillor Brown as the member. You're currently on that committee, Councillor Brown. The Community Industries Forum. Councillor Sargent and Councillor Penny as a proxy. Do we have any other proxies? Councillor Miller, you want to be a proxy on that one?
You don't have to have two proxies.
And learn about industry.
See,
Sorry, not to peer pressure.
we've peer pressured you into it.
So, sorry, Mr. Mayor, just as a point on this, in terms of nominating as a proxy, excuse me if this is an inappropriate time to raise this, but can we ensure that the proxies are included in the in the minutes, and that we get a circulation of the agenda in the minutes, just to ensure that that's yeah.
The Jandakot Botanic Regional Park Community Advisory Committee. Councillor Penny.
Yep. My buddies.
The Development Assessment Panel. Councillor Rouse and Councillor Acker. I do need two proxies. Councillor Penny, Councillor Sargent and Councillor Wood. Okay, Councillor Wood and Councillor Penny. Kwinana Senior Citizens, I will nominate for that. Councillor Acker, Councillor Miller. Good Lord, we'll need a ballot.
So who did we have?
Councillor Acker, Councillor Miller, and myself.
Are you happy to go proxy?
Oh, sorry. Councillor Penny? We need a ballot then.
No, it's okay. I will yield.
To Councillor Acker also put his hand up though. So if we're voting, we may as well, it doesn't matter whether there's an extra name.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, we've got the Mayor, Acker and Penny for the one
For the
position.
position, and Councillor Miller for the proxy. We could have a like, who knows the rules for mahjong to see who gets.
Okay. Can you do another one, please? Yep. Okay,
The Local Government Association South Metro Zone. I will reluctantly place my hand up for that one. Deputy Mayor, we need one more. This will be a great one for you, Councillor Miller. Councillor Wood. It's Councillor Wood, Deputy Mayor and myself.
South West Group, Metro Road Group.
Sorry, what are you?
No,
Where are you
it's
at?
three people for the one position. Don't worry about the proxies. It's for the one
Is
position.
the zone? Are you on the zone?
No, we're talking about the senior citizens.
Yeah,
I know, so
three
it's 3 people for the one
for
spot,
the one
and
spot.
you only need one proxy.
Oh, I thought you were for one spot.
Yeah, so it's myself, Councillor Acker, and who was the other person for the senior citizens? Councillor Penny.
Penny. No.
No, he's the proxy.
The Road Group, Southwest Group.
The Metropolitan Regional Road Group, Southwest Subgroup. Councillor Sargent, Councillor Miller
Proxy.
as proxy. Councillor Sargent as the elected member. Just noting that the Perth Southwest Metropolitan Alliance Board, the elected member is myself, and the staff member is the city's CEO.
It's one. Hang on, let me have a look at the terms.
For the senior citizens.
I can't believe we're arguing over the senior citizens.
It's always been a coveted spot.
So it's 3 people for 2 proxies.
Well, I don't think we need to ballot
No.
two proxies.
For the senior citizens.
Yes.
There's one elected. Yeah, so I've put my hand up.
So you get it by default.
Oh, okay.
Hang on, let me just check.
Are we,
So there's 3 people, 2 proxies, and
ah. Well, no, I conceded last time. Yeah, but I went to every meeting. Oh, it's entirely possible.
You can see Mr. Ting. It doesn't actually say that. It doesn't have to be that. You could actually just change it to have more.
Oh, you do. Too many cooks at that.
Yeah, no, but you don't want it.
So
We'll stick with the ballot.
So let's just run the ballot between Councillor Acker and Councillor Penny, and the proxy was Councillor Miller.
The technical directors, don't worry about that one. SWECTEF.
So just noting the Perth Southwest Metropolitan Alliance Planning and Technical Directors Forum, as per the officer's recommendation. The Southwest Corridor Development Foundation, so we're looking for 2 elected members. I believe Councillor Wood was previously on that one. Okay, Councillor Wood and Councillor Penny.
And then the environmental forum.
The Perth Southwest Metropolitan Alliance Environmental Forum, we're looking for 2 elected members. So that meeting either goes before or after the other one, doesn't it? And then that one. Okay. Okay. So just that's this carry on. So the next one is the Peel Harvey Catchment Council. That's not an automatic. You actually have to nominate, don't you?
Yes.
So do we have someone that wishes to nominate for the Peel Harvey Catchment Council? There's a process that needs to occur, but the city would support that nomination. I don't believe we've actually ever had anyone on that committee in the past.
Sorry, I sat on it previously, but yeah, I was unable to continue because of my other commitments, so I formally withdrew from that committee.
Okay. So is there anyone wishes to nominate for that committee? No? So we can't actually determine, though, whether you would be successful to go on the committee. So what it is we nominate someone as a representative, and that's the position, the person the city supports.
I believe it's quarterly.
So you would then need to get elected onto that. No, I will leave that vacant.
If you want to nominate for it in this forum, and then I can have a conversation with you and introduce you to the chairperson, you could decide if you want to, accept the nomination. It's interesting, but yeah.
Okay, Councillor Acker has been peer pressured into that one. And then point 7, endorse the requirements for the elected members attending meetings of external committees and organisations to provide a written report to all elected members on the significant matters arising from such meetings, including turtles. So we will now vote on. So there is how many ballots? How many ballots are there, Doug? Councillor, sorry, what's your name? Mr. Elkins?
4 sets of ballots.
I haven't got any.
Can you give the ballot back to keep them separate? So give one back to Doug, one back to one back to me.
Which one did you give me?
That first one.
This one?
Yeah.
Senior citizens. Yeah, because I haven't received that one yet, so. Okay. Fiona?
Bushfire to Doug and the other one to Greg.
Bushfire Oh. Who's collecting bushfire? You collecting bushfire?
And we're going to look over here and go look at this committee and look at lyrical word coming out.
That was really impressive. You usually should be able to.
So we want two positions.
Who's got the easy one? Sorry? How? You can verify them. Sorry? Are we live? Yes, yes we are. So the audit committee, the successful nominees are Councillor Sargent and Councillor Acker. You can do this one quickly. There's five and four.
So who was that one for?
Councillor Brown.
So Councillor Brown got it.
Yeah.
Lyric is Councillor Brown.
Which one's this for, sorry?
Lyric for the elected member.
Hang on, let me get to it. Where is Lyric? Lyric. Brown. Next one. What have you got?
Bushfire, so the winner is Acker and second is Miller.
Okay, hang on, I've got to find it. Bushfire.
So is that the two members of that committee?
I understand. Yeah. Why is you checking?
I'm just trying to find it.
Yes, two positions.
So bushfire committee is Councillor Acker and Councillor Miller.
Yep.
And then the last one?
Last one. So this was for which one? That was. What's the senior six one? Okay, senior citizens. So who did you want? How many?
Kwinana Senior Citizens, the most coveted position, Councillor Acker.
Councillor Penny, you happy to go proxy?
Councillor Miller was,
Well, there's two proxies.
okay.
No, they're both Acker and
No.
Acker is elected.
Actor is elected.
Acker is elected. Proxy is Miller and Penny. Happy to go proxy? Okay.
Because I had 10 anyway.
So my suggestion is, what I do is I read out very quickly each of these, and then you vote on it.
Okay. So let's just make sure governance up to speed.
Right, are you ready to go, Anna?
1, 2. So the CEO will just go through and read all the positions that have been confirmed
And then you'll vote on those.
on the whole thing at the end.
Okay, Audit and Risk Committee, the Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Acker, Sergeant, with independent committee members McMartin and Kumar. Bullamara Aboriginal Consultative Committee, Deputy Mayor, Penny, and Acker. I keep writing down David. With the committee members, Paul Garlett, Lisa Garlett, Maria Wally, Marianne Headland Mackay, Doris Gedder, and Cindy Ballard.
Excuse me, can you just say the Bullamara again, please?
The Bullamara is the Deputy Mayor, Penny, and Acker.
As the proxy.
Yeah, as the proxy.
Can you put the microphone?
The Executive Appraisal Committee is Acker, Brown, Rouse, Wood, and the Mayor. Audit and Risk Committee, the presiding member and deputy presiding member Gay McMath, deputy Aswan Kumar. Bushfire Advisory Committee, Acker with Miller. Local Emergency Management Committee, Rouse. Kwinana Recovery Group, Sargent. Access and Inclusion Reference Group, Wood, Miller, Sargent. Cash Donation Sponsorship Assessment Panel, Rouse and the Mayor. Events Funding Assessment Panel, Miller and Wood. Freedom of the City Working Group, the Mayor, Deputy Mayor and Penny. Kwinana Community Funding Panel, Wood and the Mayor. Lyric Scholarship and Awards Panel is Brown and Miller. Community Awards Assessment Panel is Rouse. Local Commercial Support Grant Panel, Brown, Miller, Sargent. Naming of Parks, Places and Building Working Group, Mayor, Penny, Wood. Public Art Review Panel, Penny. Kwinana Community Consultative Network, Wood. Alcoa Stakeholder Reference Group, Sargent, with 2 staff members. Ballier Regional Park, Penny. Coburn Sound Management Council, Brown and Miller. Communities Industry Forum, Sargent, Penny and Miller. Jandakot Botanic Regional Park, Penny. DAP, Rouse, Acker, Proxies, Penny and Wood. Kwinana Senior Citizens, most coveted position around. Acker, with proxies of Miller and Penny. The South Metro Zone, the Mayor, Deputy Mayor and Wood and the CEO. Metro Road Group, Sargent and Miller. Perth Southwest Metro Alliance Board, Mayor, CEO. Technical Directors Forum, Director City Development and Sustainability, Director City Infrastructure. SWECDEF, Wood and Penny. Environmental Forum, Wood and Penny. And the nomination for the Peel Harvey catchment is Acker.
Do council have any questions? Could I have someone move that we resume standing orders? Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Sargent. All those in favour? So no questions. Would someone like to move that recommendation? Move Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Wood. Would either councillors wish to speak? Anyone speak against? Put the items to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Anyone know what item we're up to?
Yeah.
22.6. So approve the following schedule of ordinary council meeting dates and locations for 2026. Sorry. Is there any questions? Councillor Brown?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just referring to the, I guess, the summary and the discussion in the report. The summary suggests that the change to a monthly meeting versus a fortnightly meeting is largely due to the refurbishment, but then the discussion frames it as more of a permanent change, I guess, being advocated for by the city in the report. Could the city just clarify what the intent here is? Is it a temporary change in the eyes of the city or a permanent change?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So the intention is for this next period of the dates that we go with the monthly meetings for the reasons which are outlined. There's primarily, the main factor is because we're having to go to temporary locations. It's the setup and dismantling, particularly the live stream, so there's quite a cost in doing that. The meeting frequency, it's outlined there in terms of the size of the agendas and how many monthly meetings we have. Council can then consider it at the next one as to how they want to proceed.
Councillor Brown?
Thank you, Worship. In relation to the new location suggested of John Wellard Community Centre, what considerations have been made for kind of guiding residents to this new location and factors like parking being different to this facility?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. There is parking behind the John Wellard. There's parking across the road. So there's quite a lot of ample parking for it. In terms of communication, there's quite a comprehensive communication schedule which will go out advising of changes to the refurbishment of the administration building where people are going to be, and also the locations of the various meetings as well. So people will be well informed.
And with this particular location of John Wellard Community Centre, by booking these meetings at these dates and times, are we displacing an existing community group use?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. That was one of the things that we looked at. So there were some venues where we would be displacing groups, so we chose not to go to that. So this one was available and it was able to be worked in quite well with other surrounding groups.
Okay. So just confirming, we're not overriding an existing booking of a community group. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Worship. In the anticipation that the timeline for the renovations to make these arrangements for this chamber to become available at an earlier time, are we able to reschedule to return to fortnightly meetings?
So in accordance with the regulations, that would need to come back to council. It would then need to be advertised using the required advertising methods. But certainly that was my understanding that once the chamber became available, we would revert back to what we had before, but ultimately would need to come back to council for that to occur. Because I guess at this point we're unsure when we will return. Any other questions? Councillor Sargent?
The particular space, I know you were saying about needing setup and the live streams. Is there access and inclusion to the location that council is being moved to? So if there is someone of a...
So that facility, there is a lift and there is disability access and there is adequate disability toilets, I believe.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Someone like to move that way? Councillor Penny?
Yes, I'd like to propose an alternate motion to point 1, that the city prepare a fortnightly meeting schedule and bring that to the ordinary council, next ordinary council meeting.
So your motion is to defer the item?
To defer that item and to present, to the next council meeting and present a fortnightly meeting schedule.
Is there a seconder? Seconded, Councillor Sargent. Councillor Penny, do you wish to speak on your deferment item?
Thank you. This is really difficult because I wholeheartedly sympathise with the staff and I understand the disruption that's caused by this renovation, refurbishment, necessary works that need to happen to the building. And so, you know, with that, in that context, This refurbishment can't interfere with the good governance of the city. When other local governments shift to monthly meetings, it's been in a broader context of a review of the governance structures. So additional mechanisms are put in place, for example, public briefings, public agenda briefings, sorry, and numerous additional committees that feed into the business of the council. So it's an overall look at the governance structures of the city. By moving from a 22 meetings a year down to 11, it reduces the number of touch points we as elected members, and hence the ratepayers that we represent, have with city business. While, again, I sympathise with the disruption that these works cause, in the past the city has found ways and workarounds to ensure that the business of the city can be sustained, as has occurred with other departments who have had to make considerable accommodations to ensure that they can keep operating and undergoing the business of the city. And yeah, for that matter, this is an operational matter, and I would hope that the executive would support staff to do their role, that the additional IT, furniture moving and governance support is there for staff to ensure that they can keep continuing business as usual without disrupting the agreed upon governance structure of our city.
Councillor Sargent.
I see being able to schedule fortnightly meetings if, due to renovation pressures which was put into this document, or if you go there is no agenda items, you have historically cancelled meetings previously, you have that mechanism, but removing the fortnightly option means that therefore there isn't that contact point going forwards. If there is an issue that arises in our community, that I know that there is contact through the CEO and through staff, but in my time at council, there have been people that have come here to stand to have a direct forum with their local elected members to ask a question. If it is not practical, there is a pressure with the staff and there is no business to be held, we can always cancel a meeting, but to advertise and say we're prepared to try, I see that worthwhile.
Thank you, Councillor Sargent. Anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Acker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think the point of the original motion to move the meetings monthly is to support staff, so they can concentrate on their roles instead of setting up and tearing down a facility for a fortnightly meeting. And I think if you think about it in the reverse way, if we need to have a meeting in between a monthly meeting, we can always call a special meeting. So I just think fortnightly will put a lot of undue pressure and stress on the staff. And I think it's better for the staff if we go to monthly meetings temporarily while this refurb is going on. Thank you.
Is there someone else to speak for the item? No? In that case, I will put Councillor Penny's deferment to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion lost. There is a motion. Would someone like to move the original officer's recommendation? Moved Councillor Rouse, seconded Deputy Mayor. Councillor Rouse?
No, thank you,
Deputy Mayor? Anyone speak against? Put the item to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. And in doing so, again, I'll just reiterate that this is a temporary arrangement whilst the council chamber is being refurbished. There will be an opportunity at the point that we know we can move back in here, because as I would imagine everyone would expect, that the nice new shiny chamber, we would want to come in here sooner rather than later. So at the point that we know we can move back in, an item would come to council to amend the council dates. 22.7, accounts for payment for the month ended 30 September. Is there any additional information?
Nothing further, Mr Mayor.
Councillors have any questions? Someone like to move that way? Moved Councillor Wood, seconded Deputy Mayor. Either councillor wish to speak? Speak against? Put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. And 22.8, monthly financial report, September 25. Is there any additional information?
Nothing further, Mr Mayor.
Councillors have any questions? Someone like to move that way? Moved Councillor Rouse, seconded Councillor Acker. Either councillor wish to speak? Councillor Acker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to note that the city is in a strong financial position with a closing surplus. But for those in the gallery and watching at home, the surplus is mainly due to a timing of capital works and early rate receipts. So we're not in surplus. That money's well and truly accounted for. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Acker. Any speak against? Put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. There is nothing on item 23. 24. Is there any late or urgent business?
Mr Mayor, point of order, point 24, notices of motion for consideration at the next ordinary council meeting.
Sorry. Item 24. Is there any notice of motion for consideration at the following meeting, if given during the meeting?
While I'm standing, I've got one.
Councillor Penny.
Yes, I'd like to move a motion that we direct the executive to hold a meeting with the members of council. One moment, sorry, let me just pull up my notes here. To discuss and understand the issues raised around communication and consultation with elected members on the refurbishment of the council chambers. My request, the reason I'm moving a motion is just to have a meeting with the CEO and the Mayor on this issue.
So I'll just put it to the vote. Is there a seconder of Councillor Penny's motion? Councillor Wood?
Point of order, just for clarification,
Please stand.
Can I have that again? What would we be voting on?
Can I provide some context, Mr Mayor?
Sure.
So in the process of discussing the administration refurbishment, there was a great deal of discussion around the council chambers. As an elected member and speaking to my colleagues, there was some confusion, there was some concern that some of the points raised were not being listened to, taken on board and considered in the architectural brief. As the process went on, I saw people piecemeal trying to get information and put points of view across. When I spoke to the CEO and Mayor about this, the response, or the impression was that I was the only one who had an issue with this process. And my suggestion was that we come together as a council and actually have a conversation, because I believe that other elected members were feeling the same way, and that was conversations that had happened anecdotally and also in requests for further briefings, just to clarify, the plans. What this has revealed to me is that there is a breakdown in communication, and I want to clarify that and clear it up at the very base level, to have a very open and honest conversation about what happened and where people felt that they weren't listened to, respected and heard in this process. At a base level, that's what I'm calling for at this meeting. and I ask for the support of my fellow councillors. If they want to have this meeting, now is the time to speak up. If indeed I am the only person who feels this way, then I'm happy to lose the vote. But at this point, this is how, as I was advised by the Mayor, if I wanted a meeting or discussion to bring it to the council chambers, and that is what I'm doing.
Sorry, I'm just checking the standing orders in relation to where your notice of motion fits for the process. I think in any event, so are we comfortable with Councillor Rouse?
I'd just like the actual wording on what we're voting on, and if we are voting on the motion now, or is there some notice of a motion to come before?
So as it's being presented at this meeting, we would be voting to accept the notice of motion. So if the if it was the vote was lost, then the motion would be lost. If the vote was carried, then it would be something that would occur.
Okay, can I just have a wording on the
Sorry, however, the
motion?
technically the requirement would be that Councillor Penny's notice of motion would come back to the council for the council to determine whether the council indeed does what Councillor Penny wishes for us to do. Councillor Brown?
Yes, thank you. Just on a clarification on the process. Is it correct that we must do a vote at this stage, or the chair can accept it for consideration?
So it's at I'm the presiding member, so I'll make the determination. So
yeah,
it's as simple as that. So if you can just restate your motion, also so that the minute taker can get it for the minutes.
My motion is that the CEO meets with members of the City of Kwinana Council to discuss the issues raised around communication and consultation with elected members on the refurbishment of the council chambers.
I think you need to rethink that, Councillor Penny, because
Well, you know, I'm after some advice here as well.
so that's why I'm
you know, help me, as I think as I emailed before, help me word this in a way that works for the city administratively. I think you get the essence of what
I do, but I guess
what I
again,
want to do here is have an open and honest conversation about it. My sense is that a briefing is the city speaking to us, and I would like for the elected members who, if anybody here wants to have a say, to actually have the opportunity to say, well, this is where we could see the gaps in that process, or this is how we felt about it. Yeah, I won't speak out of school.
So
here.
I'm actually still struggling to see how that actually is a relevant notice of motion, because you actually haven't outlined what the issues are for the need for this particular workshop to occur, which is the previous conversation that had been communicated. I guess to be frank, I'm struggling to rule the relevance of the notice of motion based on the limited information. I'm obviously I've got the standing orders here, and I'm trying to really fit your notice of motion into the existing standing order so that we can put it to a vote.
And to be clear, what we're putting to the vote is an acceptance of the motion, and then at the next council meeting, we will vote to decide if we have that meeting. And at that point, I hope that you're understanding what I'm trying to achieve here, which is a open dialogue between elected members and the city. I can speak to examples, but I would much rather that the city openly says, let's meet and discuss this.
May I just put some clarification?
Sure.
Through Mr. Mayor, just some points of clarification. So, councillors, tonight you adopted a communications agreement. The communication agreement is quite clear that the CEO may arrange for briefings or discussions in relation to final responses. In relation to the refurbishment of the administration building, there were a number of briefings that took place with council. Council has provided information back to staff which went away. There were some people in the briefings that did provide some responses that was taken into account, and we sent further information back. In regards to, so briefings are done, arranged by the CEO, and which I also have in discussion with the Mayor. To have further ones, ultimately it is the decision of the Mayor as to whether those briefings should take place. In regards to notices of motion, standing orders are quite clear. Notices of motion should be in relation to the good government of persons in the district. So you need to consider whether this motion is actually in relation to the good government of persons in the district, or is starting to get operational in terms of the layout or the colour of how a refurbishment takes place, which is starting to get into quite operational matters, which is quite clear in the Local Government Act as to where operational matters reside. That's the decision you need to make.
So,
Sorry, I'm just going to check procedurally. I don't want to, I feel like if I speak now, I'm abandoning standing orders, so I want to proceed respectfully, Mr. Mayor.
sorry, I'm just trying to fit your
Yeah,
motion
thank
into the standing orders in a way that, in the way that I can put it to a vote currently, because technically, at the moment, I would rule it out of order, basically, because as the CEO has alluded to, a notice of motion is to relate to the good governance of the persons in the district. And when you kind of unpack that using the standing orders, it's your notice of motion to say the least is vague in what you're trying to achieve. And I'm sorry that I can't tell you where to go from that.
Sorry, I won't interrupt you.
So,
Could I respond to that point about the good governance and of
Sure.
the region?
well, sorry, no, actually, I'm going to rule what I've said as being my final.
Okay.
In that your motion, again, is too vague. So I'll give you maybe a minute to think about your motion so that it isn't as vague, so that it's a clearer position as to why we're going to a workshop, or why we're seeking further briefings from the CEO in relation to the item.
Thank you. Could we suspend standing orders for a minute?
We don't need to suspend standing orders. We can pause for 30 seconds to a minute to give you an opportunity to think,
Okay, thank you.
and for me to continue to read the standing orders.
Because at this point, I'd like to sort of draw on, I don't want to start a debate. I'm trying to sort of take leadership here, which is one of the city values, lead from where you stand or sit, to facilitate a conversation around this. So for me to sort of look to my fellow
Okay, Councillor
councillors.
Penny, actually, could you please stand
Yeah.
if you're addressing the chair
Sorry.
to start with? And I did say that if I'd give you the opportunity for 30 seconds to a minute to compose your thoughts. So maybe do so and present an alternative notice of motion to the council, and I'll put that to the vote if I deem it to be appropriate under the standing orders.
Okay. I really need your leadership and advice around this, around how to raise the request for a meeting.
Okay,
or
Councillor,
all of
I'll
council meeting with the CEO.
Just ask you
Yeah.
to sit down again, please.
Okay.
And just turn your microphone off. In relation to your notice of motion, I will rule it not relevant to the good governance of the City of Kwinana. However, what I will say is that there is your notice of motion or the issue at hand is not time critical. Okay, the item at hand that was time critical was appointing the successful tenderer to undertake the contract for the refurbishment of the building. So I think to allow you the opportunity to compose your position and then in turn encourage you to submit your notice in motion to myself and the CEO under the other parts of the standing orders to present it at the next council meeting as per the notice of motion that Councillor Ack has recently put in relation to the seedling subsidy, which I'm not sure if that's been sent out yet, but that is a notice of motion that will be received at the next council meeting, and giving you the opportunity to actually put your position into words that are relevant to providing a notice of motion within this council.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Freeman Nelson, for your attendance this evening. There is nothing on item 24 now. There is nothing on item 25. Item 26, reports of elected members. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. First of all, I'm truly humbled to be voted in and re-elected by the people of Kwinana to be the voice for them for the next 4 years. And I'd also like to congratulate those returning councillors on their positions and their advocacy in their communities for their support, and also the successful election of our youngest councillor, Bailene Miller. I wish you all the success in your learning in your first term. And I also look forward to working closely with yourself, Mayor, and the officers, and continuing the great work that the city does for our residents and our ratepayers, and also look forward to the next term working alongside collegially and respectfully with all my fellow councillors. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Acker.
Nothing to report, thank you.
Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Your Worship. So, like many here, Saturday 18th of October, I not only voted as part of the local government election, but I attended the count evening alongside all of the candidates. And I also like to take this opportunity to congratulate returning councillors and newly elected Councillor Bailene Miller. Then on Sunday the 19th of October, I attended the City of Kwinana hosted Weeding Day, or in this case the annual Gladdy Grab in Homestead Ridge Reserves alongside volunteers. Also on Sunday the 19th of October, I attended the Medina Community Festival, another hugely successful event run by the Medina Residents Group at Medina Hall. On Tuesday the 21st of October, I attended alongside fellow councillors the latest citizenship ceremony at Medina Hall. And then on Saturday the 25th of October, I attended as part of Safety Month in the City of Kwinana, the Cuppa with a Ranger event in Wellard Village alongside the community safety team and local firefighters. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Miller, your first report.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say congratulations to the re-election of my fellow councillors. Congratulations to Barry Mumar becoming deputy again, and I'd like to say how humble I am to have been elected as councillor. First, on the 21st of October, I attended my first official council duties, the citizenship ceremony, where I butchered a bunch of names, which was held at the Medina Hall. Then 24th of October, I participated in the Scams and Scones Protection for Small Businesses Online, held at the Kwinana Markets. Then 25th of October, I attended a Anketel Road community consultation session held at the Darius Wells Centre. And then finally, 27th of October, I, alongside the Mayor, joined the Cuppa with a Ranger at the Wellard Oval. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Miller. Councillor Penny.
I don't have a lot to report, but I did make it to the couple with Ranger at the Wellard Oval there, and had a great time and a great chat with the Rangers. I met lots of amazing poochies down there. Thank you.
Councillor Rouse.
Thank you, Your Worship. On Thursday, the 16th of October, along with you, Your Worship, I attended the Local Emergency Management Committee's desktop exercise at the Mangdoglup Volunteer Bushfire Brigade, codenamed Exercise Forge. The exercise was designed to test the LEMP's hazmat response and recovery capabilities to a fire and multiple explosions at a chemical processing facility on Patterson Road. Very well run and successful exercise, I do believe. And if you just indulge me, I'd like to thank all those who supported me in the election. I'm honoured to be able to serve the people of Kwinana for a further 4 years. We've got some exciting projects coming up, one of them being our admin refurbishment, as you all heard tonight. It's great to be able to be a part of shaping those and improving Kwinana's future. I'd like to congratulate Councillor Winmar and Councillor Sargent on being re-elected, and Councillor Winmar, of course, for his reappointment as Deputy Mayor. I think the re-election of us three shows the people of Kwinana have chosen a team they believe will continue to make thoughtful, fair and forward-looking decisions for our city. I'd like to congratulate Councillor Miller, obviously, as we say, Kwinana's youngest ever councillor, and on his election win, and welcome him to the team. Look forward to seeing what your youthful perspective will add to the council, and I hope that your success inspires other young people to give it a go as well. And I'd also like to congratulate Claire Cardew, who narrowly missed out and finished 5th in the election for her elegant and social media campaign. And of course, I'd like to thank my wife and family for their encouragement and support. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Rouse. Councillor Sargent.
Thank you, Mayor Feasy. I have done a few things, but I think the thing of note that I would like to report back to Council was the Medina Festival that was proudly supported by the City of Kwinana, run by the amazing team of the Medina Residents Group. Also had some fantastic local Kwinana support as a new gen free feed, and it was just a 20-year legacy of community coming together to go, how can we share, build, collaborate and support each other, and a 20-year legacy with the local government. So to everyone that was involved in that, thank you very much, and hopefully I never have to ask every single person I see if they would like the vegetarian option again. Okay.
Thank you, Councillor Sargent. Councillor Wood.
I'd like to congratulate the returning councillors and our newest councillor on their return to council, and I wish you all good luck. I'd also like to congratulate the Deputy Mayor, newly elected Deputy Mayor, on his inauguration, I suppose we'd say. I went to a citizenship along with several other councillors where 82 new Australian citizens were sworn in. It was quite a large group. I also attended the Access and Inclusion Reference Group. Unfortunately, several of the members couldn't attend, so it was basically just an information session, but we did have some officers from Kwinana who gave us quite good talks, including Daniel, is Daniel from planning? Daniel? Engineering. Gave us a good talk. So that's basically all I've done. Thank you.
A good talking to. There's nothing on item 27. Mayoral announcements. Can I too congratulate all the newly elected councillors, and also congratulate Deputy Mayor Winmar for being re-elected to the Deputy Mayor. Just in relation to Councillor Sargent's comments in relation to Medina Festival, I concur with your comments, and could I also congratulate Mr. Bill Toon for being named the Medina Marvel for 2025. Bill's been quite an active member of the Medina Residents Association for a number of years. Could I also congratulate the outgoing president of the Kwinana Knights Football Club, who has made a significant contribution to football in Kwinana over the past possibly 20 years, being good friend here, Councillor Acker. I think you've left the football community in well stead. What else? And then lastly, if I could again just congratulate Sinead Gilligan and the other staff from Ms Greaves' directorate, and also from Mr Bowring's directorate, being the Rangers and the City Bushfire staff, in the relation to the successful Community Safety Month. Currently, while the council meeting was occurring, there was a emergency preparedness session being conducted at Casuarina Hall. So we hope that went well, and I believe there's two or three sessions left to finish out Community Safety Week. I think in total there was 45 activities during the month, and we are close to having well over 2,000 of the community safety surveys being completed. So we will quite quickly see what the residents of Kwinana believe to be their top three issues in relation to community safety. I believe that the last time I was told that one of the significant issues that Kwinana residents believed was in their top three was dangerous driving. So that certainly will give us opportunities to speak with the police and put some things in place to try to circumvent those things. Can I also confirm, and I'm not sure the actual terminology, but the 8 cameras that were going in around the city, the number plate recognition cameras which are being monitored by the police, have now all been installed. So there is pretty much now I guess a geo-fence around the city for vehicles coming through the city. So again, this has been discussed before, but it allows the police to be able to know if there's vehicles entering the city that are unlicensed, people travelling in vehicles that may have warrants, people with mental health issues, or elderly people with dementia that may have wandered off. It gives them the ability to actually track those cars throughout the areas that have these cameras. And I would imagine that we have 8 at the moment. At a point that the city's budget allows, we would look to put some more in. So, and I attended many other events during the period. So that being said, I will declare the meeting closed at 8:10. Thank you for your attendance.